An injunction against Trinidad and Tobago's oil company is lifted, and in sport, questions raised about whether procedure was followed after a freak accident that left a Jamaican jockey dead. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Thursday, October 11. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Yeah, luggage is overweight. Yeah, luggage is overweight. How much I must pay?
No, you can't do it like that. You'll have to take some of the things out of the suitcases and put in a box or something.
You know, you're a wicked woman. A wicked fat woman.
Do you want a boxer?
Box me now? You think so you're helping me strike me? Try a box.
Barbados, it's time to laugh again! Get yourselves ready for the Caribbean's funniest men and women! Fast Promotions Annual Caribbean Comedy Explosion! Saturday, October 27th, Sir Garfield Sobers Gymnasium, 8 p.m. Get your early bird tickets now and pay $60 before all are sold out at ticketlinks.com. All Ticket Links outlets nationwide. Jeans Inc. Sheraton, CS Pharmacy, Rubis Waldy, and Eddie Supermarkets Bitestown.
I come in here as a loner. I know you spot me from far.
We begin in Trinidad and Tobago, where state-owned oil company Petrotrin has won a court battle to lift an injunction that prevented it from terminating employees. Justice of Appeal Charmaine Pemberton ruled in the company's favor around 11:30 last night, following close to 7 hours of submissions from attorneys representing Petrotrin, the Office of the Attorney General, and the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, the OWTU, which had been granted the injunction in the first place. Petrotrin's lawyers had filed 15 grounds in appealing the injunction, which was granted earlier this week by the Industrial Court, pending the hearing and determination of an industrial relations offense over the company's alleged failure to meet with the OWTU in good faith before making the decision to close the company. The lifting of the injunction will only last until next Thursday, when the substantive appeal over the actual granting of the injunction comes for hearing before a 3-judge appeal court panel. In the meantime, Petrotrin is free to resume the distribution of termination packages to workers as it moves towards shutting down its operation by the end of next month. Jamaica's Norman Manley International Airport has been divested and will be operated by a Mexican entity following the signing of a deal with government yesterday. Now, under the 25-year concession agreement, Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacífico, or GAP, will be responsible for improving the airport's land and air operational efficiency and financing and completing a modernization program at an estimated cost of over $110 million. The government will receive a guaranteed percentage of the airport's gross revenues, and GAP has the option to extend the arrangements by an additional 5 years. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made it clear, though, that government still owns the airport.
Government of Jamaica retains the ownership of the asset. We own it, but we have to face the fact that the government of Jamaica was never and probably will never be specialists in the management of airports. And at the end of the day, what I believe the public wants more than anything else is a well-managed facility that delivers a service efficiently and at an affordable price point.
Still in Jamaica, the opposition People's National Party is calling for Firearm Licensing Authority, FLA, workers who breached gun permit guidelines to be charged. It was revealed on Tuesday at a meeting of Parliament's Internal and External Affairs Committee that gun license applications had been approved by board members before proper background checks were done by police. The committee was also told by some FLA workers were collecting money illegally, and there was direct interaction between those staffers and board members. PNP General Secretary Julian Robinson says there needs to be immediate action by the police and the Director of Public Prosecutions.
We don't know where those guns would have ended up, whether they ended up in criminal hands or not. And there's a need for an investigation to determine who should be held accountable for the actions which were outlined at the Internal and External Affairs Committee by the CEO of the FLA, Shane Dallin. It's a very serious breach because we are trying to fight crime. And if the agency that has responsibility for issuing licenses in a transparent manner is breaching it in this way, then it is cause for grave concern.
The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA, started an investigation into irregularities at the FLA in 2017, but there has been no word from MOCA on the outcome of the probe. Robinson is demanding Prime Minister Andrew Holness hold former National Security Minister Robert Montague accountable for the irregularities at the FLA. Stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. Our Midday Sports takes us back to the recent death of veteran Jamaican jockey Vassel Nager following a freak accident at Kemianas Park a few weeks ago. The questions are being raised about whether proper procedures were followed. We hear more from TVJ's Denise Walters.
The 65-year-old Nager died on Monday, 12 days after he was struck down by the horse Perfect Asset, who had escaped from gate attendants while the loading up process was going on for race number 6 on the 10-race card on September 26 at Caymanas Park. He was rushed to the Spanish Town Hospital and later transferred to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he underwent surgery to remove pressure on the brain. Calls are now being made for an investigation to be launched into the unfortunate incident, while several pertinent questions are being asked in relation to the tragedy.
A major concern, because what we want here is to preserve life. And as you can see, the medical team was stabilizing the jockey who had bravely tried to corral this horse, and he got injured with his head hitting on the concrete surface, which caused a lot of blood to be spilled at the same time. So you would have the ambulance come in and be as close to him as possible to minimize the journey, to put him on a stretcher and to get him into the ambulance. When the ambulance had to move to allow the horses to come back to the unsaddled enclosure, I thought that was an error. I thought that is part that has to come out in investigation.
Veteran sports medicine specialist, racing personality and columnist Dr. Paul Wright is also questioning why the promoting company Supreme Ventures Racing and Entertainment Limited, SVREL, doesn't have an agreement with the two major public hospitals.
We have trauma hospitals, we have the Kingston Public Hospital, the major trauma hospital in the island, and we have the university that have the necessary equipment, magnetic resonance imaging, CT scan and so on. And therefore I think that an arrangement must be made with those tertiary institutions to accept these ambulances when they come as a matter of priority.
And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.